everybody. Welcome to Reaction Shots, the movie and TV podcast. First episode on our own, sort of. This is episode 78, kind of, but also episode 1, sort of. Obviously joined here by the beautiful Michael Huber.
Hello.
And the illustrious Matthew Walden. How are you guys?
I'm
good
doing
enough.
well. Doing well. Good enough. Happy to be here. Happy to be
Hell
here.
yeah. Hell yeah.
Been looking forward to it.
A little shopkeeping as we are on a new kind of platform here. Patreon.com/reactionshots is our new home away from home. And the YouTube channel is youtube.com/@RS Movie Podcast right now until a month from now when I can just get the URL /RS Movie Podcast or Reaction Shots if I can get it. And then on Twitter and Instagram, we are RS Movie Podcast. Yeah. I thought it might be interesting because I don't know if we ever exactly did this to kind of go over very briefly, like introduce ourselves and our like not credentials, that's stupid, but like I don't know.
Prove yourself.
Who are you? Yeah, Matthew Walden, prove yourself. Go.
My name is Matthew. I grew up in Hawaii. I lived in LA for a couple decades. I met y'all at Game Trailers. Sort of. I was at Game Trailers for a little while.
Wow.
GTTV with Keely. If you watched Ted Lasso, now I can't help saying Keely. Keely. As Jamie Tartt says, Keely. But after that, I went on to produce a lot of TV shows about hip hop. That just ended up being my genre, sort of accidentally, and I love doing it, and still sort of do that. And Isla and I became writing pals, working on a lot of film projects. I dabbled in some video game stuff behind the scenes in public relations, and just love talking to both of you about movies, and love talking to the Reaction Shots community about movies. So just really happy to be here.
Yeah. Permanent host now too. Frequent
Yeah,
guest.
permanent forever.
Permanent
Lifelong.
forever.
Tattooed on my chest.
Reaction shot. We could all get Reaction Shots tattoos. Sure, why not? If we hit 1 million subs.
Deal.
Yeah. If we hit 10,000 or 100,000 on Patreon, I'll get a Reaction Shots tattoo. That's a promise.
I am
Hubie.
Michael Huber, and my grandma showed me From Dusk Till Dawn when I was like 8.
Oh, cool grandma.
I love movies ever since. And here we are.
That's the best.
That's it. And my dad showed me Aliens around that time too.
Yeah.
So very, very impactful films that charted my course for sure.
I'm understanding a lot now. A lot. Is Aliens your favorite of that series?
It's our favorite movie.
Favorite movie?
That's his favorite, full
We've
stop.
probably talked about this before, but Aliens is my favorite of that run also. And if I'm feeling sad, it will cheer me up. Like,
Oh, hell yeah.
I've been sick before, like just really unhealthy, and I put that on, and it's just like I've been laughing with glee. It's like made me feel better. Like, yeah, it's a good
Paxton,
movie.
dude.
Yeah.
So funny.
Aliens is so good. Yeah. I've told about, but I drove across country and Aliens was on every night, and it like kept me sane. Like
So
it was, Aliens for me is also like a comfort, like a sanity anchor. It's my constant. It's my penny.
For sure.
It's got a lot of heart, just like Huber.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And it's scarred, just like humor. I am Isla Hink. I went to film school. I've been working as a video editor and writer and director, doing mostly weird video game stuff for 100 years. That's how I met these two, obviously. And yeah, I also watched movies that I probably shouldn't have seen when I was really young. So that's what led us all to be here. Donnie Brasco when I was 14
Donnie Brasco.
or Event Horizon when I was 12.
Do you have a Pacino impression?
No.
My Pacino impression now is from The Irishman every time. Solidarity!
Yeah, I would just yell something like, "Wah!" I saw him and God, is it Jared Leto in The House of Gucci? Where they're just like yelling at each other. It's very funny. I saw someone say that Leto is doing like Wario and Waluigi in the same scene. It wasn't wrong. It was not wrong.
Yeah, that's perfect.
All right. I just figured, like, I didn't know if we ever actually told people what our deal was. What have you liked lately? Before we get into... so we're adding a little brief news segment to the show after What Have You Liked Lately and before the theme. Also, we will sometimes have guests on the show. I figured this time probably makes sense to just go the three of us because we're trying out a new recording platform. We're, doing all things like some new stuff. But I'm hoping to have some guests soon, next month maybe. And then... yeah, so we would then introduce and talk to them, of course, before doing the theme. This month's theme is, of course, 2023 in review. I enjoy doing these. It's always fun to see, like, what my blind spots are for the year. What?
It's always fun to see how little I've seen.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But yeah, what have you liked lately? Hubert,
Fargo.
why don't you go? Dude. Fargo is so good.
Fargo was incredible
loved
yet again. Every season is so fucking good. Like, the show is going down in the history books as one of the greats for sure. Every season is just so different and so relevant. So just like unpredictable and exciting and fresh and cozy. It's like everything. Fargo is so freaking good.
Yeah. Especially dealing with this season, it deals with such like intense subject matter, and I think it handles it really well. It's also like an inversion of the movie. Obviously every season of the show in some way kind of is, but this one very directly is just like playing with that, like dancing directly with the movie. Even I was reading this morning that one of the later scenes is like an intentional kind of reference to No Country for Old Men. Like,
hell yeah.
I don't want to say what because it's kind of spoilery, but yeah, I loved it. My therapist, I was in therapy like an hour ago, and like there's a thing called like a doorknob confession or whatever in therapy, where like usually the client will be like, right as time is up, they're like, also I killed my husband or whatever, like right at the last second, And this time she did it to me, where like right as we were leaving, she was like, "Oh yeah, I watched Fargo season 5," and I was like, "You can't do this to me. You can't. We gotta talk about it." Like, I was like, "Next week."
Well, it takes you a while to work up to the big shit, right? You can't just like say it at the beginning.
Dive into Fargo.
Yeah. You're so right. Yeah. Have you watched it at all, Matthew, or no?
I haven't watched the season, but I'm dying to. Yeah. There's just a lot of good stuff out, but it's pretty soon on my list. Like working up to the new Fargo. I saw earlier seasons, but not this one. So, but I mean, John Hamm is always so watchable and so handsome. Like he's the best. He's like our Cary Grant. Like he's incredible.
He's super.
I can't wait to see it.
I wonder if you'll change your tune after this.
Oh yeah. I mean, probably. We'll see.
He is.
Is he a scoundrel?
Yeah.
I mean, like Cary Grant has his rough sides too. I mean,
Yeah.
if you catch him
Who
in
was it? It
in
was-
the right role.
Errol Flynn was like a real D-bag in real life, right? Was that him? He had like hidden fucking two-way
Probably,
mirrors and shit in
yeah.
his house. Insanity.
Yikes. Yeah.
Hubie, anything
I really
else?
liked Reacher season 2.
Oh.
It's fucking amazing. That show is
Which
10
one?
out of 10. Reacher season 2.
Oh.
Show is actually a 10 out of 10. It's like ridiculous.
I've seen the original Jack Reacher movie, and I remember liking it.
Terrible.
Okay.
Terrible compared. Like, yeah, and I love Tom Cruise, but Tom Cruise is not Reacher. Like, this
I mean, he's
show
very short.
is so, yeah, this show is so good. Season 1 and 2 are drastically different. And it just strikes that balance of like you compulsively need to binge it and just see what's next. It's like so watchable, so entertaining, but it's also like really smart and hardcore, and it's really well written, really snappy, really good cast of characters. Reacher, highest recommendation for sure.
Oh, but honestly, that's making me intrigued. Oh, Huber,
It's
I was out.
I think you would really like it.
Okay, I was out at a bar with some friends the other day, and I mentioned Patriot, and they had seen it, and they loved
Nice.
it, and I was like, oh my god, someone else!
Nice.
I
Patriot.
was like, ooh.
Hell yeah.
That's on my to-do list still, is finish our watch party of
Same.
Patriot. Now we'll get Matthew in there too.
Same.
Yeah.
it's-
I did watch one episode. I watched the pilot. Just because
You
I've
fell in
heard you
love.
talk about Patriot so much on this show. Yeah.
Yeah, and you were
I'm
intimidated
part of
by
the
its
club.
quality. So you
Yeah,
couldn't
exactly.
continue.
I was like, I need to save it for a special moment in my life. It's coming. Yeah.
Lastly, I'm a big true crime guy. And this new Netflix one, American Nightmare, is fucking intense.
Ugh.
3 episodes only. It basically boils down to cops not believing victims. And
Standard fare, I'd
it's-
say, probably.
So yeah,
Yeah.
completely fictional then. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a wild story. There are 3 episodes, and I watched all 3 in a row.
Oh my god.
It is wild. But yeah, that's on Netflix. Obviously true crime, so it's like hard to
Yeah.
watch. You know, you have some like survivors on there. Like
Yeah.
it fucking made me tear up at one point.
Yeah, true crime definitely hits
But-
different now that I'm on the supply side of murder victim.
Oh God. What a way to say it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking hardcore. It was good.
Fuck. It sounds crazy though.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been watching
Yeah.
True Dicks season 3, 4,
Oh, and that
what
too,
it-
of course.
Night
Yeah.
Country, whatever. I'm loving it so far.
4.
But even that, I'm just like, this is heavy. Like,
Yeah, it's so good.
ooh. Yeah, I've been loving it. Like,
Same.
people's weird reactions to it. I'm like, is your
Yeah, it comes with baggage and expectations.
Yeah.
Like, even my dad is loving it. My dad's like a big Jodie Foster fan. He loves all
Oh,
the
yeah.
seasons. He's been caught up since day 1. But even then, we were just like talking about it for like 5 or 10 minutes and how much he loves it and I love it. And then just out of nowhere, he's like, yeah, man, it'll just never hit that season 1 high, though. McConaughey and Harrelson, you know, it's like all we. And I was just
Yeah.
like,
especially when it's a
yeah.
direct sequel, basically.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I mean, that's fair, but like it's its own thing, but it's like always going to be in the shadow of season 1 for sure. That was like a not once in a lifetime moment, but those moments happen so rare. That like water cooler show
Yeah.
where every single person is like waiting week to week to talk about it. Like that's gone away in the streaming age a lot, but True Detective is like, you know, one of the last ones where it like really felt like a water cooler event, like every week.
Yeah.
Like Game of Thrones, True Detective. It just feels rare now. Rarer.
I don't know if the other lesbians in the audience feel the same way as I do. Let me know. But I do feel a little like I got a little bait and switched because it's like Jodie Foster and I can't remember the Navarro or what actor's name, but like both gay in real life. Yeah, pretty sure both gay in real life. Jodie Foster for sure, and so far, not in the show, which is fine. Obviously, they're acting like they're actors, but we all kind of set ourselves up for disappointment there.
I feel like you're always disappointed unless there's like a lesbian romance.
Well, yeah.
Like every time.
I mean, yeah.
You need it. You need it.
I, in some cases, literally do need it to keep going. Like, I will watch an entire like pretty mediocre thing if I know there's like a lesbian kiss. Like White Lotus season 2. Watch that whole thing because I knew there was a lesbian in it, and I didn't like it. I loved season 1, but didn't like season 2 really. But made it all the way through.
Nice.
You know?
It did have that amazing quote though, right? These gays are trying to murder me.
Oh,
that was pretty awesome.
These gays are trying to... She thanked, when she won the Emmy or whatever, she thanked all the evil gays for like their support. Which,
it was worth it just for that one line and one moment. Like,
these gays are trying to murder me. Yeah, perfect. Matthew,
so, what have I been watching? I mean, I've been chain smoking 2 packs of movies a day. Like, I usually do this at the end of the year. That's when I catch up on all the movies, because that's when kind of like the art movies and prestige movies, they like just like unload them at the end of the year. Everybody's hoping to get awards, and so that's when I catch up. So I've been like watching tons and tons and tons of movies.
I get so much more frustrated, Matthew, now that streaming is such a thing, where it's like I see all these Sundance movies coming out and they're playing in like one theater in like one state, or like, and I'm just like, dude, just like let me fucking watch your like sick ass art house movie now. Like, so it's like I keep seeing all these movies that are coming out, and it's like I'm gonna forget them by the time they're on digital, you know? It's like,
or it's really
harder to catch them.
Like, well, when like stuff like Drive Away Dolls, right? Like, I thought that movie came out 3 months ago, and it's getting its theatrical release in like a month. And it's like, okay, they released it late last year for festivals and to get awards for this circuit, but it's actually coming out wide, you know, now. It's like 4 or 5 months later. It's in this month's American Cinematographer. It was just like, okay. Sorry, Matthew, go for it.
I mean, I watched Kokomo City, which is a documentary, and it's about Black trans women who are sex workers, and it was really cool. It was really, really, really fun to watch. It was done by a Black woman who was a trans woman herself. She directed it, and it profiled 4 of them, and they were just pretty like honest about what they do, and like lots of interviews about their life. This documentary, Kokomo City, it also interviews the clients of these sex workers, and it tries to break the stereotype of who you would expect would be visiting them. So it has like a lot of like tough guys who might be like rappers or guys on the corner of like convenience stores, and like they talk about why they think they're beautiful or cool or okay to visit them or like be in love with them or like just experience like joy hanging out with them. And I think that is just like an amazing thing for the documentary to do, because I think a lot of guys probably feel like their masculinity might be attacked by visiting trans sex workers, and that's a part of the problem in culture, I think. So the documentary does a lot of cool things by just interviewing these people who are visiting them along with the perspective of the sex workers. It was just really cool. It was beautifully shot. It's black and white, and it was really, really refreshing to sit here and hear people's perspectives that you usually don't hear. It was really cool, really well done.
That sounds really interesting. Yeah, like trans women of color are definitely like among the highest murder rate groups. So it's interesting. It's really important, I think, like you were saying, to like destigmatize just being with people. Like, it's not a thing. Like, cool it, everybody. Like, it's all fine.
Yeah. Anytime like I'm at like a protest or like a Black Lives Matter rally, you always see signs that say like protect black trans women or something like that.
Yeah.
And then so it was cool to actually see an entire movie devoted to their lives. So I think it's really cool, and I recommend people watch it. It's a great documentary, and it
Kokomo City.
made me happy to watch it. Yeah, Kokomo City. That's the name of it. You'll feel good watching it. So recommend that.
That is always such an important endorsement, I think, especially when it comes to like queer documentaries, but queer like movies too. Like, so rarely happy. Like, just like,
I know. I know. And I think like obviously it's important to make movies for queer people, but I also think it's important for like people who present as cis straight to have their misconceptions broken down, because if they are going to pay and have sex with trans people, then they need to get their shit worked out about their stereotypes, about who they are and who they're visiting. I think it's just does a lot of great work, this movie. So everybody should go watch it.
And to show that because a lot of people, I think their main experience with trans people is Pornhub or through sex work, and it's just like, there's more to us than that, and also if we're choosing to do that, that's fine, but we're people, we're not like a fetish. It's not like a thing, it's like be okay to treat us like a human being, not an object. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, anyway. I recommend it. And like, there's so many movies I saw this year that didn't make my top 10 list, and I'm like, I was telling Jessica, my wife, it felt like when you're gathering Pikmin, and you're like, oh no, I don't want to leave this Pikmin behind. You didn't make my top 10 list, but like, don't get left behind.
That feeling is why I can't play Pikmin. It's too stressful.
And I saw Zone of Interest, which was like a heavy bummer of a movie.
Glazer hype.
I haven't seen it yet, but friends were talking to me about it, and I'm like, oh my god, it sounds intense.
Well, it's really it's really fucking
God,
heavy.
I love Jonathan Glazer.
It's really heavy.
He's one of the greatest directors ever.
Yeah, I mean, like, Under the Skin is intense, and like that's a movie that like every time I see it, I wrestle with. I'm like, do I like this movie? And then like I decide, I do like it, but like it's intense.
We've talked about Under the Skin on here before, but like knowing the production process of that, like that most of the men were not let in on it, like that changes your viewing of that movie so much. Anyway,
yeah. But Zone of Interest, I feel like, is very interesting. It's a good compare and contrast with Oppenheimer. And I know I said my piece about Oppenheimer earlier, so I will cede my point about that.
Well,
we don't need to go into it further.
Up.
I know. But
it's going to come up.
It is interesting because it does focus on a similar thing where someone did some awful things, and the movie is all about the person who does some awful things. And it also does not show really much about the victims. It really just focuses on this guy and his family who live right next door to Auschwitz, like right next door. And just going about living their lives, feeling amazing, loving what they're doing, and just like blissful, like just having an amazing time. And you're just like, God, how can they do that? And it makes you... like, not you, me, all of us, like in a country, obviously our country does things that aren't great. And, how do we do that cognitive dissonance thing where, we sometimes benefit from the things that our country does that aren't amazing. And, we have to go about our lives. And it just makes you more. And I also watched They Clone Tyrone. which was hilarious. Did either of you see that?
I haven't seen it yet, but a friend of a
Nope.
friend is the writer-director, Joel.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
so I know.
Nice.
He's been to my house and we watched a Neil Breen movie together, but that was a number of years ago, so he probably doesn't remember me, but I have met him and he was super cool, and I've been wanting to watch that movie.
Wow. So talented. It's really, really funny. Really, really weird. It's
Love
got
that.
so much more going on than I expected. And I heard a lot of people kind of talking about it on the internet, like probably like the first month that it came out, and then it kind of
Yeah.
quieted down. And I think the reason is because people don't want to like spoil it. There's and I don't want to either.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a sci-fi kind of it's got a little bit of Get Out going on, and it's so funny. Like the cast is incredible. It's got the guy from Star Wars Episode 7.
John Boyega.
Yeah, exactly, and he's amazing. I didn't really love him in Star Wars. I thought he was kind of like dull in Star Wars.
I mean,
It wasn't his
that's
fault.
Yeah.
Star Wars sequel
But he's
trilogies. That's doesn't count.
He's incredible here. He's incredible here. I didn't like the flack that he got. I just thought he was kind of like a little bland. But here,
He's great in
so
Attack
good.
the Block.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That movie was great.
Yeah.
And then it's also they Clone Tyrone also has Tiana Paris from Mad Men and WandaVision. She's also from Candyman. She is hilarious. She makes this movie. It's like a trio, and it's also got Jamie Foxx, and Jamie Foxx has some problems. He's got some like Me Too problems, so I don't want to
I
talk
didn't
about
know
him
that.
too much. But it's not the fault of this whole movie. This movie was made by a bunch of other great, incredible people, and this movie has important things to say, and it says them in hilarious ways. I recommend people see this. I was just laughing like every minute. There was like at least 3 jokes a minute that were hilarious at this.
Nice.
It's an important, funny movie. People should check it out. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Sounds good.
And that's I think that's the recent stuff that's not in my list.
Yeah, I was gonna
My
say
top
like
10 list. Yeah.
the year in review episode's always funny for the what have you liked lately, because it's like, well, half my list. It's like,
Yeah.
before we get into that, Oscar nominations came out just the other day. Obviously, everyone's freaking out that Greta Gerwig didn't get nominated for director, which is
That was a big one.
yeah. I mean, there are definitely some other women too that yeah, it's the Oscars. Like they always suck. Whatever.
Yeah.
I
just
also
don't
don't
see
think things
people-
should be automatic either. It's like
Exactly. I just see everyone complain, but I don't see them say like who should get left out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like who
also
should.
Barbie got like 8 other nominations, so it's like,
Yeah, and Gerwig was nominated for screenplay.
yeah.
At least.
I think they feel like it feels like a little bit like the movie's plot a little bit. Like we're gonna give it to Kin, we're gonna give it to Ryan Gosling, but
Yeah.
we're not gonna give it to the director for best directing who put this
Right.
vision together. And it was incredible. Like
Yeah.
I thought in terms
I thought so
of
too.
like coming up with this movie out of thin air. That was hilarious. And I think it felt like evil Kin taking over just a little bit. You know what I mean? It just struck a
Yeah.
chord for a lot of people. Like, we're going to give it to Kin, but not you. I can
they
see why
gave it
people
to-
are
People I've
upset.
heard that said it's amazing. Because I liked Barbie, and everyone I ever talked to was like, yeah, it was good. But you guys thought it was amazing?
I saw it 3 times. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Chill. Cool.
I really liked it.
Dang.
I
Yeah,
I would
I
say
thought it was good.
I thought it was very good. It wasn't my favorite of the
Yeah.
year, by
Yeah.
any stretch, but it's one of my favorites of the year. Spoiler alert for our top 5s or 10s at the end of the show that we're gonna do, but yeah, but I think because like Ryan Gosling and America Ferrera getting the nominations and not Margot Robbie. That one is what feels a little weird to me. Because, like, America Ferrera does well. I thought her performance was really good. Her monologue was maybe a little too hardcore for the tone. I don't know. Like, Margot Robbie did a lot of work in that. I don't know why they wouldn't have just given it to her if they're going to give it to other people in that movie.
Replaced.
Well, that's the other thing, yeah.
Yeah.
We can run them down here real quick. Yeah, we're talking about actors. So, Best Supporting Actor, Sterling K. Brown from American Fiction, Robert De Niro, Killers of the Flower Moon, Robert Downey Jr., Oppenheimer, Ryan Gosling, Barbie, and Mark Ruffalo, Poor Things. Mark Ruffalo is so good in Poor Things.
He is great.
So
he's great. That's the best I've ever seen him do. Like, yeah, he's incredible.
I haven't seen American Fiction or Killers of the Flower Moon yet. Those are two of my like biggest blind spots, especially American Fiction. Like I really, really want to see that. But of the three I've seen, RDJ and Mark Ruffalo were both pretty great to me.
RDJ.
Yeah. Original screenplay and adapted screenplay are kind of wild this year, where Barbie is an adapted screenplay of a plastic doll, I guess. Like, it's not a story adaptation. It's just the idea of Barbie existing already. It's like, that's kind of strange.
There's a lot of Barbie lore in there, though, so I totally get that.
I think that's another thing that rubbed people the wrong way is the WGA classifies it as an original screenplay.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So I think that's what people were feeling like was a snub towards Greta Gerwig. They're like, no, this is adapted. No best director for you. Plus, Evil Ken gets it. Like, it just kind of fits into the lore of the movie.
It's funny because
probably
I
wasn't,
think
but
my usual assumption when moves like that are made, right, are that, like, usually it's like putting someone in best supporting instead of best actor or something like that, you know? That it's like somebody thinks they have a better shot at it if they're in that category, you know? I feel like adapted is maybe a hotter contest than original this year, but like, because original is Anatomy of a Fall, Holdovers, Maestro, May, December, and Past Lives. I've heard 3 of those are incredible. I've heard 2 of those are not very good. I've heard Maestro and May, December are like okay, not great, but I don't know. And I've heard Past
May
Lives
December
is the
has a
greatest
great
goddamn
script.
thing that's ever seen.
Yeah.
I've heard May December script is really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like American Fiction, Barbie, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, Zone of Interest, like good lord, Barbie's not winning that. Right? Like Zone of Interest or Poor Things or Oppenheimer? Probably. Who's to say?
Yeah, pretty stacked.
Very stacked. Just running down the rest. I didn't grab every category here, but supporting actress Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer, Danielle Brooks, The Color Purple, America Ferrera, Barbie, Jodie Foster, Nyad, and Divine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers. Another one I missed is The Holdovers. It just didn't, like, I've heard word of mouth wise that it's amazing. The trailer, I really liked kind of the throwback quality of it. But it didn't make me rush out and go see it, you know?
I'm pretty sure Divine's going to get it for The Holdovers.
Really?
She's incredible in it. And especially if you saw her work in Only Murders in the Building, those are just like radically different characters that she's doing. She's like a detective cop in Only Murders in the Building.
Oh, I love her. Yeah, okay. I didn't remember her name. I like her in Only Murders, yeah.
Yeah. And then The Holdovers, she's doing a completely different lane. So it's amazing to see her do something that she just like carved out such a different space and mindset for this character she created.
Cool. Have either of you seen? So you've seen The Holdovers?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Loved it.
And Huber, have you seen it or
it's great.
No? I've only seen Barbenheimer.
Okay.
I literally have seen nothing.
The holdovers spoke to me. It felt like the characters were all true to themselves. And the things I loved about it, I don't want to say too much because there's like, I feel like it should reveal itself to people who watch it and enjoy it. But yeah, it's a great movie.
I look forward to it. Paul Giamatti got the nod for actor from Holdovers, as well as Bradley Cooper for Maestro, Coleman Domingo for Rustin, Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer, and Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction.
I feel like this is Cillian's to lose.
That feels like Cillian is taking that.
Yeah.
Like, all of the other ones are
It was like when Daniel Day-Lewis. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anytime Daniel Day-Lewis shows up, they're just like, all right.
But it feels like
actress,
it's locked in,
Yeah. Best actress, Annette Bening for
such
Nyad.
an epic career.
Who?
Cillian Murphy has had such an epic career, and like this is his moment to just like get it, get it.
Yeah.
Get that bone.
Yeah.
Best actress, Annette Bening for Nyad, Lily Gladstone, Killers of the Flower Moon, Sandra Huller for Anatomy of a Fall, maybe Huller. Carey Mulligan, Maestro, and Emma Stone, Poor Things. That one, to me, seems like Emma Stone's to lose, but maybe it's too weird for
Lily
people.
Gladstone is the favorite.
Lily Gladstone's pretty amazing. It would be cool if she got it. I mean, Emma Stone is so radically great in Poor Things, especially compared to The Curse. I went home after seeing Poor Things and watched more episodes of The Curse.
Yeah.
And God, The Curse is such a miserable experience just because she's such a selfish character. So yeah, again, the compare and contrast of what she's doing in those two pieces of art is amazing. But Lily Gladstone is doing something special in Killers of the Flower Moon, so she has a chance to win that. Yeah.
Okay, for sure. Best director, Justine Triet for Anatomy of a Fall, Martin Scorsese for Killers of the Flower Moon, Christopher Nolan, Oppenheimer, Yorgos Lanthimos, Poor Things, and Jonathan Glazer for Zone of Interest. Yeah, those all seem pretty solid. Mm-hmm. Justine Triet's in there. Yeah. So, I don't know what people were talking about. I'd heard a few people be like, it's only men, and I'm like, oh, no, it isn't. Best Picture is American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things, and Zone of Interest. Yeah. What are people complaining about with Barbie? It's in like every category. If you have news and you're a patron, throw it in the news section in the Discord and I'll try to include it. Yeah. Obviously we don't, it's not really a news podcast. It's more of a we like movies podcast, but sometimes movie news is part of that. Patreon.com/reaction shots. All right, let's get into our theme, shall we? 2023 in review. I asked our patrons at patreon.com/reaction shots a few questions. I said, what was your favorite movie of 2023? What was your favorite show of 2023? Any hidden gems in 2023? And what is your most anticipated of 2024? And as usual, just anything else, whatever. I used to separate all of these into each question, but then I stopped doing that, and now I just do it by each patron's thing, and like we'll kind of just bounce around between those topics. That's how I've done it the last like 40 episodes. I don't know, it just feels more natural. Even though we're jumping around in topic, it just kind of flows better generally, I find.
Sweet.
So we'll start things off with Ryan Thomas Reynolds. And then, yeah, at the end of this, we'll do our own personal top, however many I didn't count, but however many we came up with that we liked. Ryan Thomas Reynolds, no relation to Ryan Reynolds?
Ryan Reynolds.
Ray.
Scavenger's Reign on Max was phenomenal. Great characters and incredible atmosphere and world building. Anyone who hasn't seen it has got to check it out. My favorite show of 2023 for sure. The Bear is a super close number 2. Yeah, I can second. Scavenger's Reign is incredible. The world building, the characters, the animation style, just everything about it. I loved it. Please watch it.
Hell yeah.
They need a season 2.
It looks great. It looks really good. It looks totally like my kind of thing.
Oh, it's so your kind of thing? I was reading, I can't remember where, some website I was reading about Scavenger's Reign, but they were saying, like, part of why it's so successful is that it doesn't, like, why it's such refreshing sci-fi world building is that it's not concerned with you understanding the world, right? Like, it's an alien planet.
Oh,
like, you're not going to understand.
That's how it should be.
Yeah, you don't need to understand the biology of these creatures. It's an alien planet. Like, the characters understand some of the interactions with things, but, like, even they're just like, I don't know, it just does this. Like, it's what it is. This doesn't kill me, so it's my friend, you know?
Are they smarter than the Prometheus scientists?
Oh, by far.
Anybody
Low bar,
could be.
But yes. Low bar, but yes.
Fifth grader would be.
Yeah. Are you smarter than a Prometheus scientist? The new spin-off of Are You Smarter? The new easier spin-off than Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? I remember rewatching Prometheus a few years ago, like with the specific idea in mind, like, could I re-edit this to make it better? And the answer is no. Like,
such a pretty movie. It'd be a
I
cool,
still
like,
enjoy
documentary
it.
looking thing.
It's visually gorgeous. Like,
Yeah.
so good. Like, it's the third best looking Alien movie.
Yeah,
Well-
exactly.
Like, the just garbage level of Alien movies.
Exactly, yeah.
Tyler Travis, funny, I just published my top 10 shows of 2023 this morning.
Nice.
And then they say, I don't even think I've seen 10 great movies this year.
Same.
Their top 10, I mean, it was a great year for shows. Their top 10 shows were, should I go from 10 down to 1 or from 1 to 10? What do you guys want?
Always.
10 to 1.
10 to 1, okay.
Build up. Build up.
Yeah, their number 10 is The Curse, which they qualified, just finished on Friday, but considering it a 2023 show, we'll give it to you.
The end of The Curse. So just it's worth getting there. Even if you don't like The Curse, get to the final episode. It's unlike anything I've ever seen. It's unlike anything I've ever seen. Get to the end. Do it.
That's the most
Just do
intriguing
it.
thing I've heard about it.
Marathon to the end. You'll be like, holy shit, what is happening? That's
How
all.
many
That's all
episodes
I
is
can
it?
say. I think it's like 10. 8 or 10. Do it. Do it.
Tall order, Matthew.
When you
a tall
get
order,
to that
Matthew.
last episode, you'll be like this. Your hands on your face, pulling your eyes down. What is happening? That's
scream.
That's the last episode. Yeah.
But, like, why... Fargo season 5 exists. Just watch that.
Yeah,
You'll
do
love
both.
every second
Why
of
not? Why not both?
mortality, I suppose. Number 9 is Good Omens, which I really enjoyed. I'm happy there's another season coming. Let's say that. Number 8 is Beef, which apparently has been getting a lot of buzz. I never saw it. The premise seemed like it would make me angry or anxious.
Very stressful show.
You saw it?
I couldn't stick with it. It was too anxiety producing.
That's what I was worried about. Number 7 is Barry.
Hell yeah.
Oh, that was this year. That was last year. Yeah. Oh
Apparently.
my god.
Apparently.
Oh my god. That show spoke to me on a very deep level. It has really important things to say about gun violence in America, and
one of the best shows ever.
Yeah, I mean, like, I survived the mass shooting, and I didn't know Barry would evolve to talk about those. It has deep things to say about mass media, and it's the way we talk about our country's obsession with violence, and it was brilliant. So Barry, thumbs up. Huge thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I stopped watching after season 1 because I was so depressed by it, but I loved it.
It's depressing. It's very depressing. It's depressing
It was great,
as hell,
but I was
it's
like,
good.
this is
Yeah.
so sad.
It's very, very sad. Yeah.
Number 6, Blue Eye Samurai,
Fuck
which
yeah.
I've heard is incredible.
So good.
Number 5, House of Usher, which I really enjoyed. Probably my 4th favorite Flanagan, though. But still good. Maybe 3rd? They're also, I don't know. They're all kind of different. but Bly Manor is my favorite. But Pluto is number 4. I don't know what that is.
Anime.
Oh, okay. Anime. The power of anime, dude.
Power of anime.
Number 3, I do know what it is and quite enjoyed it myself. The Last of Us.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah. So good.
Yeah. Episode 3 especially. Loved it.
My parents just finished it.
Oh,
What
nice.
did they think?
They loved it.
Yeah. They could
were like,
hang in
so
there
it-
with it.
Yeah, they were like, so what's the video game like? And I was like explaining it to them.
That's so funny. I cannot wait for the discourse of season 2 where we have to relive all of that all over again
Gosh,
for people
yeah.
who never played the games.
I think gamers are a little more aggro, so honestly, it shouldn't be as bad.
After years in the biz, I think that has been my takeaway, but who's
Yeah,
to say?
gamers are way more aggro.
I think everyone's probably got their aggro pockets, you know? It's always like 5% of every group is just like a loud idiot, and then like everyone else is normal. You know? Are you a loud idiot? Patreon.com/reaction. Don't go there. Number 2 is The Bear.
The bear. Let her rip.
Every second counts.
And number 1 is Succession.
Succession. Yeah.
Little
that
show.
show.
Nobody's heard of it. Little show.
Succession.
Succession is one of those shows
Dude.
where it's like I was very, very happy when it was done, because then like it's incredible, but I'm so glad I don't have to watch it anymore.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It left a hole in me though. When it was over, I was like, man, I kind of miss it. So, did you both finish it?
Yeah.
Island Huber. Okay.
I did.
Well, do you remember this monologue, or not a monologue? It was like this long conversation between Shiv and her husband on this like porch, or like it was like near the end of the show. It was just like very, very long, like kind of like argument, debate.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, this is incredible acting. It must
Yeah.
have been like 6 or 7 minutes long, and it was like so emotional. I was just like, because that's not giving anything away, but just like
Yeah.
it was so intense. It was like the longest
Really good.
conversation they ever had. That acting just like tops like almost anything I've seen in a movie last year and the last couple years. It was just so heartbreaking. Yeah.
TV has been very strong this year.
Mm.
Yeah. I was just thinking about when Kendall says, "I'm the eldest boy," but he's not. Oh, it's good.
So many memes from that show. Yeah.
Oh my god, the memeiest. Betos Burritos' favorite movie was Godzilla -1. They say they cried through most of it. I loved Godzilla -1. It is so good.
I can't wait to see it.
It's coming out in theaters in black and white, like right now, soon.
Cool.
Gotta
Yeah.
do it.
It's phenomenal. Did you see it, Huber?
No,
Oh,
I haven't seen anything.
We got homework,
nothing.
Huber. You and me.
Yeah.
We got homework. Godzilla homework.
Yeah,
I'm
spread myself too thin. I watched a little bit of TV, played a little bit of games, saw a few movies. That's about it. I watched way
You're
too much
well-rounded.
wrestling. Yeah, I watched way too much wrestling in 2023. That took up all my time.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah,
Well, there you go. Yeah.
I turn on wrestling when I don't want to do anything. And
Yeah.
that was my mood for a lot of 2023. I would just put that on and lay.
yeah.
Scratch where it itches. Fill what's empty.
Yeah.
Wrestle
There was
what needs to be wrestled.
Yeah. There was a funny comment on the Goaty deliberations, Huber. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah.
That was over at Easy Allies. That was like, quote, "No one has time to play everything," end quote. Michael Huber, a man who streamed The Last of Us in its entirety several times this year.
It needs to be
For a
done.
game right there. Yeah.
Needed to be done.
Yeah, it
Scratch
needed to be
that
done.
itch. Wrestle
Got
what
to.
needs to be wrestled. Beto's Burrito's favorite TV show was Devil's Plan, a Korean reality show on Netflix. Smart celebs compete in mind games while living together on a closed set.
That sounds fun.
Cool. Their most anticipated is House of the Dragon Season 2.
Nice.
Baby!
George Martin was on set for some episodes, which is really cool. He's involved, yeah.
Involved.
Mm-hmm.
Freeze! I know you all talked about it before, but I really think The Holdovers has ended up as a bit of a hidden gem in a broader, general public sense. It's such a shame it wasn't more widely released in December, at least here in the UK, because it really is such a brilliant Christmas movie. I honestly loved it, and it doesn't surprise me at all to see Paul Giamatti picking up some awards for his performance. Man, I really need to see it. It's not, James Willems was talking to me about it.
Yeah,
He really loved it.
It's good.
You get that best Oscar nom. That's the best publicity you can ever get.
Oh, yeah.
Like, your movie is making more money no matter what if you're nominated for Best Picture.
For sure, yeah. Tokyo Slim, patron saint of reaction shots.
Yo!
Literally,
love that guy.
made a roll on the Discord just for him that says patron saint of reaction shots. Also a mod on the Discord. Thank you to Tokyo Slim. Poor Things is Tokyo Slim's favorite movie of 2023. Fall of the House of Usher was probably my favorite show of the year.
Nice.
Yeah. Miniseries are shows, I would say. That he said, I'm counting it as a show. And it's like, yeah, it's a show.
Yeah.
Hidden Gems of the Year, animated. The first Slam Dunk and Blue Eye Samurai are both top-tier animation. You don't need any other backstory for them. They are outstanding in both animation and story and characters.
Blue Eye
Live
Samurai
action.
is so good.
Blue Eye Samurai is?
Yeah, it's so incredible. You will love it, Isla.
Okay, I need to watch
You
it.
should watch that.
Live action, When
Seriously.
Evil Lurks
Is Slam
is
Dunk
my
the basketball?
favorite horror movie of the year. First Slam Dunk, I don't know what it is.
When Evil Lurks is great. When Evil Lurks
it's
is
on my list.
incredible. So good. So
I don't
good.
think I've heard of
Looks
it.
bloody.
It's terrifying. It's terrifying.
Yeah. One of these days.
Great sell. Biosphere is a movie I didn't see a lot of people talk about. Mark Duplass and Sterling K. Brown are pretty great in a movie about the president and his most trusted advisor surviving a post-apocalypse in a bunker together. Reminds me of Failsafe.
Sick.
Haven't heard of that one either.
No.
Tokyo Slim has seen like 395 movies this year.
That is insane.
Literally? Or were you just figuratively kind of like saying that many?
It's a lot. I don't
Yeah.
know specifically.
Because I wouldn't be surprised if it was
Sounds
that number. Yeah.
Same.
It's up there. I think it's like almost
Yeah.
one a day or more.
Yeah.
I'm sure that he'll let us know.
Yeah.
Jed. Oh yeah. First of all, we're gonna. I don't know. Have we talked about Poor Things yet? I loved Poor Things. It's so weird and so visually astounding. And without spoiling much, I think it. I've come around. Like while I was watching it, I was like, "Born Sexy Yesterday" was just in my head the whole damn time. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a really nice video by Pop Culture Detective on YouTube called "Born Sexy Yesterday." Give that a watch. It's really good. His stuff is really great. But the notion of that was in my head the whole time I was watching that. I've come around on it that it has to be intentionally grappling with that because it's kind of the point of the movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have not stopped
Yeah.
thinking about Poor Things since I saw it.
Yeah. It's definitely that director's best work. It's very literary. I mean, it's an adaptation of a
Yeah.
novel, and I think that helps because I think sometimes his movies are great and fun, but they miss a little bit of heart sometimes. You know, they're very stilted. Like The Lobster's cool. I love that movie, but sometimes
that
like.
movie.
It takes place in a different reality.
The
Yeah.
Lobster more
Yeah.
than any movie.
Like The Killing of a Sacred Deer, I hated because it was just like too ruthless and felt cruel. You know, sometimes
That's his
he
only
can
movie I
lean a
haven't
little
seen.
towards. It's like a little like Lars von Trier sometimes.
Oh,
you know, but like Poor
could see him
Things
going
like
that way.
had heart, and I feel like it was the script was a great adaptation. I haven't read the novel, but it had the breadth of a novel and the heart
Yeah.
of a novel, and it was like very skillfully adapted. Adapted. That's my word I just made. And so I felt like it gave it like a sense of heft that some of his other movies don't have. It was just so well done. It made me want to look into the author. I looked him up. He's like a Scottish author, and I'm interested in reading Poor Things itself to see how they did such a good job of turning it into a movie.
Nice.
It definitely does. We've talked about this, I think, too, on the show. But like, I love the Suspiria remake and this movie. Both of them leave me scratching my head that like. It's funny that these movies have like very few women above the line like involved. Like it's kind of an interesting study because it's like, it's a story about a woman and her experience made entirely by dudes. Which is like, you know, allowed and maybe not even a bad thing. It's just kind of interesting.
Yeah, and it's a aggressively anti-misogyny.
For sure.
And it's
Poor Things is like it's like a lampoon of men. Like if anything.
Which is cool. And I wasn't sure where it was going to land, but it does. I feel like land firmly on that line. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Good movie.
Yeah. Jed, I'm so happy to see the crew back together in 2024. My favorite movie of 2023 was Godzilla -1. They really knocked it out of the park. I didn't expect to care so much about the story and characters, and the CGI was surprisingly good. On the other hand, I thought Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning was a little weak. After Fallout, my expectations were sky high, and overall it was only okay.
One of the weakest.
One of the weakest.
Top 10 disappointments of the year, no question. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. 100% I was disappointed.
It definitely was not as. It's definitely not as bad as episode or movie 2 or whatever, but yeah,
it's better than 2, of course.
Yeah, not a highlight.
But it's
not a highlight of the series.
Yeah, it might be my second. Right above that, though. I like 1 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 more. Like, Fallout's my number 1.
Rogue Nation, I forget a lot.
Rogue Nation's really good.
Yeah, I need to rewatch it.
Yeah, I was really disappointed with it.
The Uncharted influence was interesting. In the Uncharted 2, it was like, oh, we're going to do this scene from Uncharted 2.
Yeah,
a very iconic scene.
And they showed the hell out of it. You could not escape the marketing of that scene. And, like, by the time that scene hit, it was like, okay, I've already seen all of this scene. Here we go. And that was, like,
and the motorcycle jump. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was, like, the big set piece of the movie. And I also didn't like, this is supposed to be, like, you know, it was originally a 2-parter. Now they've dropped that. The next one is going to be called something entirely different.
They're just titling it differently.
So it's like, yo, this is the end and like the finale of this long-running series. So I expected it to go harder and like have a little more teeth and be a little more intense. And it was like really like slapsticky. I did not like the comedic tone of this was so out of place.
It did definitely have some comedic moments. I was like the little car rolling over and stuff.
Yellow
like, that was
Herbie
right.
punch buggy car.
Yeah, like when they kept switching spots, like that part was fine. I thought that was cute, but like I don't know.
Yeah, and, like Mission Impossible is funny and Tom Cruise is funny usually, but I thought it was just like a little too much for like where we're dealing with like nuclear war and like the end of this franchise. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't usually lean that heavily on it.
Yeah.
Brain Freeze says, "The curse, dude." And Tyler Travis says, "My mind was completely blown on Friday."
Oh, he's talking about the end. He's talking about the end of the curse.
But now my mind won't be blown, because now I know.
We've
Now
been
I know.
parasiting.
It's still will.
Nope.
It's still will.
There's
yeah.
no way. There's no way my mind
people
will be
told
blown.
me I wasn't gonna watch the rest of the show. I didn't like it, and then people were saying, "Oh my god, the end!" And I was like, "All right, let me see this end." And then I was like, "Okay, I did not see that." Yeah.
Could you just watch the first and last episodes?
Yeah, I think so.
Really?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Do it.
Because I mean, like, all I ever
think so.
heard about it was like
That's what I did. That's what I did. I did that for Jessica. I was like, please just watch this last episode. And she watched it with me and thought it was
funny.
like terrifying and hilarious. Yeah.
Because like all I've heard about it is that it's like insufferably difficult to watch because it's so cringe and awkward, obviously on purpose. And I was like, okay, if
true.
you don't need to suffer through 9 episodes, like, I wonder.
Yep.
Maybe I'll give that a try.
You can. Give yourself a
JG.
2-hour movie.
Yeah. J.G. Wentworth, 877 cash now.
877 cash now.
I'm getting fiber internet on Friday, 2 days after we're filming this. So right now we're dealing with a little bit of delay issues, but it should be better next episode, hopefully. But yeah, singing over the internet is nearly impossible under the best circumstances. JG says, my favorite film of the year was Perfect Days by Wim Wenders. It's such a powerful film. I didn't realize that was out yet. It's such a powerful film about the mundanity, but also uniqueness of everyday life. It is so up my alley in every way that it feels like if I was as talented a filmmaker as Wenders, I would have made this film, lol. The music, the setting, the themes, I'm just in love with this movie. My most anticipated of 2024 is Monster by Hirokazu Koreeda.
Yeah.
Koreeda. It comes out this week in the Netherlands, and his previous film, Broker, was my favorite of 2022. So,
Sick.
I have high hopes. Also, maybe not a hidden gem, but Infinity Pool by Brandon Cronenberg was sick. Congrats and good luck on the new Patreon. JG. Yeah, when I saw a trailer for Perfect Days like a month ago in front of something else, I was like, whoa, Vim's still kicking? Like, that's sick.
I didn't know he was still around. Yeah, that's great.
I love that. And the movie just looks so darling. Like, it looks so, like, there are a few movies out right now that I'm just like, do I want to just weep openly in the movie theater? Like,
Yes.
all Us Strangers. I'm like, that just looks real intense. Like, for several reasons. Looks great, and I love, what's his name? Andrew Scott or whatever. But, yeah, Perfect Days looks great. And Broker I didn't see, but I wanted to. I missed that one. I have to see it still. I thought Infinity Pool was... I really liked aspects of it, and I didn't really like other aspects of it, I guess.
Same. I like Possession. Is that what it was called? Possessor? The previous
I loved
movie.
Possessor
was
Yeah.
better.
That was sick.
It was like,
fun.
it went harder, actually.
Possessor
and I felt
went harder, and
Infinity-
it kind of...
Yeah.
It held together a little more, too.
Yeah, I agree. Infinity Pool was funny. I mean, Mia Goth is great. And then ever since I saw the movie, we've been saying, like,
Although
don't
apparently
be
she,
a
like,
sucky
beat up
baby,
somebody.
or whatever
Oh, yeah.
whatever she yells at him, yeah. It was fun, but I don't think it was, like, incredible. But it's worth seeing, yeah.
Yeah. Especially if you like weird stuff. KB Holmes just has a couple of anticipateds for us here. Severance and Silo sophomore seasons. Fuck yeah. Silo, dude. 2 of the best sci-fi shows in recent memory. Sci-fi's second seasons often buckle under the weight of the season 1 mysteries that can't deliver, but I have faith in these. Yeah, I really hope so. Also, along these lines, Yellow Jackets anything. Obsessed with the first season, incredibly disappointed with the second. Whether bonus episode or season 3, anything to let me know if I should keep up, hope, or move on. Yeah, dude, like,
I'll go another season. If season 3
for
is
sure.
as bad or worse than 2, I'll probably just be like, all right, I'm checking out of this.
I liked season 2. I heard a lot of people didn't like season 2. I was into it. It was fun.
I didn't like hate it actively. Modern day Shana or Shauna, whatever stuff was just not good. I thought like that whole plot line I did not like, but everything else I was fine with.
Yeah, the modern day stuff was a problem, and then the past stuff had way less stakes. So the whole thing ended up just being like, meh.
Just kind of flat.
Yeah.
Who's the modern day Shauna? Which one is she?
Shauna.
Last of Us lady.
Is she like the politician, or which one is it? No.
She's the one with the husband and the daughter.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was dealing with that thing that she did.
I like the video store lady. She was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With all the
Lesbian.
VHS tapes. Like,
For sure.
As we covered earlier in the class, I'll stick with it till the wheels fall off because there's lesbians in it.
Let me point to the chalkboard here. Topic 1.
Circle. I'm in it until it crashes and burns, baby. Gotta support my gals. They continue. It's definitely not a 2024 show, but I hope we get some news this year. I need anything on the Alien show from Noah Hawley. I think it might hit this year. I don't know. Ever since it was announced, ever since it was announced, it has been my most anticipated. And considering how good Fargo and Legion are, my hype is through the roof. Yeah, I've been thinking about Noah Hawley a lot lately and how interesting his career is, and just like Legion and Fargo being so incredible. Especially this latest season of Fargo. Alien's gonna rip.
Alien's gonna be amazing. Yeah, it's gonna be so good.
Like I was reading an interview with Noah Hawley where he was like, you could tell he was being like, he was choosing his words wisely, but like, the interviewer was like, so are you gonna use any of the background? Because this is like a prequel, right? He was like, are you going to use any of the background set up from Prometheus or Alien Covenant? And Noah Hawley was like, I've spoken with Ridley Scott quite extensively on all of this, and it's just not useful for me. It's just like... So the answer is hell no. Yeah, seems great. Keen says, my favorite film of the year was Oppenheimer. Very predictable, and I don't have much to say that hasn't been said. Watched it twice in IMAX. Got my money's worth. Favorite show of 23 has got to be The Last of Us. The only show I watched week to week this year rather than binging it, and that's so important to the experience. Love the cast and reimagining of elements from the source material. Bill and Frank brought me to tears. Yeah, hell yeah. Hidden gem, maybe not so hidden, that I adored was Beau is Afraid. Only reason I'm using it as my hidden gem is because I want more people to see it rather than just hearing people say they didn't like it and pass on. Really good. I've heard so many different things about that movie. It seems very like... The main thing I've heard is that it's really good if it was not so long. That's like the main thing I hear people say. Did you watch it, Matthew?
No, I don't. I'm not familiar with it. Beau is Afraid. No.
It's the Ari Aster.
Yeah.
Film, I guess,
It kind of looked like a Michel Gondry movie, actually.
Yeah,
When I watched the trailer, it looked like way more upbeat and whimsical than I'm used to from Ari Aster. And I'm not a huge fan of his, but this one kind of looked like maybe I should give that a try. But I'll have to be in the right mood for it.
Yeah. I think I literally said, like, oh, he's in his Michel Gondry era. Like...
Yeah.
They say that Keen says, my most anticipated film of 2024 goes to Across the Spider-Verse Part 2. While I love the 2018 film, the first part of 23's film left me not fully satisfied, so I need this film to win me back. I feel the same. I think mostly I got parasited. Everyone was like, it's a flawless masterpiece, Across the Spider-Verse. And so when I saw it, I was like, yeah, it was good.
Damn. Yeah, I was blown the hell away.
Yeah. I got parasited hard on that one. But I think I said the same thing. I was like, part 3, like once I've seen the whole thing, I'm sure I'm going to love the whole package because obviously they're amazing. Other than that, I'm so happy to see the show back. It was my favorite show in Easy A. Glad to see it continuing, and will always support it. Hey, thank you so much.
Aw.
Yeah.
Colin Luton. On the topic of hidden gems, I will never forgive y'all for sleeping on TMNT Mutant Mayhem. I watched the shit out of it. Or are you talking about?
That was
No,
good.
I think they're talking about Society. I think they're talking about
yeah.
Society because
I
we've
know
all
everyone's
seen
talking
it.
about. Everyone's talking about the Barbie snub, and to me, TMNT is the biggest
snub of
fucking
the year.
snub for not getting nominated
Biggest
for
snub of
best
the year.
animated.
Biggest snub of the year.
Insane to me. Yeah.
Everyone
Yeah,
walked.
that art style is so good.
It was incredible. They continue. Everyone walked out of Across the Spider-Verse like, aw shucks, that's all the groundbreaking animated feature films I had time for this year, and left Mutant Mayhem out in the cold. Yes, it's Spider-Verse-y in that it heavily stylized CG animation, but where Across the Spider-Verse was mostly pulling from digital illustration and printed comics, Mutant Mayhem is pulling from chalk and oil pastels, ballpoint doodles, stop motion, and street art. It's sumptuous and gritty and beautifully gross and ugly. Seriously, nothing else looks like it. Plus, it's just a fantastic movie with insanely lovable characters and hilarious actors and a bump in OST. They played Ante Up by MOP twice.
The soundtrack is really good.
The soundtrack is very
The
good.
soundtrack's great.
I loved that they let the teen, I loved that it's A, actual teens, and B, that they just kind of let them riff. That was really cool. And as an added bonus, it was made completely without crunch. Everyone who cares even a little about animation needs to watch this movie. I'm so serious. Yes, it's very good.
I didn't know that. Okay, that's a big bonus. That's a big bonus.
Yeah.
Treating workers well deserves a spot on tons of lists. Yeah.
Whoa. Their most anticipated is Transformers 1, ILM's first animated feature. Very curious to see that. Favorite show was Pluto. Favorite movie was Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Thanks. I love that their favorite movie was Across the Spider-Verse after they yelled about TMNT the whole time. So good. Oh, there was an asterisk there that I skipped. It says, not y'all like you guys, but the listeners, but the nation, y'all. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very funny that Across the Spider-Verse is your favorite. I didn't know ILM was making an animated feature. That's cool. All right. Jonathan Jordan. Past Lives is still my favorite of the year. It blows my mind when it was Celine Song's debut film, and I can't wait to see what she does next. My hidden gem was Monsters by Koreeda, who, after catching up on a lot of his movies last year, has become one of my favorite directors. Also, shout out The Boy and the Heron. Miyazaki is still the king. Hell yeah. Matt Rock Records. My favorite film by far was Godzilla -1. Cried 4 different times in the theater. Halfway through the film, I realized I didn't care if Godzilla ever showed up again. I was so invested in the characters and their lives. I just wanted to see their story, how it would play out. Having never heard of this director before, I'm excited to work my way back through his filmography. Also, as a professional archery instructor, I have to give an honorable mention to... Oh, that's fucking sick. I have to give an honorable mention to John Wick 4 for the most realistic and brutal fight scene involving bows and arrows that I've ever seen. Hell yeah.
Yes, dude.
Wasn't it? There's the one part where she shoots the arrow and it goes through that guy's leg and it pins him to a wall, and then John Wick shoots him in the face, and then he pivots on the arrow and just falls over dead, but his leg stays up. Hardcore. What an interesting person. You're a professional archery instructor and your username is a record company. Matt Rock Records. Who are you? What's your deal?
Archery is hard too. That's not
Archery's
an
hard.
easy. That's not an easy skill. Yeah.
Shout out to kaiju movies with really good human characters.
Oh my god, dude. I'm excited to see what you
Shut
think
up.
of Godzilla -1. So it's not to Parasite. Super Sushi. My favorite movie and hidden gem from 23 was The Artifice Girl. Wow, that is hidden. I've not heard of that. Loved that movie and saw nobody talking about it all year. To all the Ex Machina lovers out there, don't sleep on The Artifice Girl. Favorite show.
Cool.
Have you heard of that? The Artifice
No.
Girl?
Yeah, I don't
Wow,
know this one.
Gotta watch that one. Their favorite show goes to the second season of The Bear. Just amazing and moving TV. Was looking forward to the second half of Spider-Man Across the Universe, but I heard on another podcast that it might get pushed to 25. So my answer to that question is going to be Deadpool 3, closely followed by Furiosa and Mickey 17. Dude, I'm so jazzed for Furiosa. I really hope it's good. That trailer, the CG wasn't looking great.
Trailer was rough!
But the trailer might be done.
Trailer was fucking rough. Trailer was fucking rough.
Yeah, I saw it and I was
I'm so nervous. I am nervous.
Not quite there. But
you know, I was nervous about the previous Mad Max. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a mastermind visionary.
I think it was harder.
Let him cook.
It was way harder to be skeptical of Fury Road because Mad Max had always been this fine series. Road Warrior was a cult classic, but Fury Road now has set the bar so high, there is way more pressure on Furiosa to deliver.
It feels almost impossible for Furiosa to meet or surpass Fury Road. Like, Fury Road's damn near perfect.
It really is.
Real good movie.
Well, maybe it doesn't need to. Maybe it's going to be like a side path, and we'll enjoy it for that purpose. Yeah.
Sure. I honestly, that's my hope, is that it's different enough that comparisons are pointless. You know, I doubt it, but that would be a strong way to go. Anything else? I asked the same question last year. What was your favorite movie you've seen last year that didn't release in 2023? Any good movies from your backlog that you finally saw, or just one of your faves that you revisited? Hope you have a successful 2024. That's a great question. Let me fire up my letterbox. Do you guys have any thoughts? Favorite movie from that you saw last year that did not come out last year?
So I saw Brighter Summer Day, which is this movie from Thailand, and it is like a long 3.5 hour movie about these kids, and they are like all running in gangs and trying to survive in this violent environment. And it reminded me a lot of my experience growing up in Hawaii. And it is a beautifully shot movie, where like it's like this mixture of innocence and violence, and kind of feels, I don't want to say, it feels like early Wong Kar-wai movies. If you've seen some of like As Tears Go By, something like that, where just like some super kind of the shots have a lot of I don't know, it's like kind of like griminess to them, but also beautiful environments, and just it's very raw, and it made me feel nostalgic about my upbringing, but also like horror, because there was like a lot of like roughness in my environments when I grew up, and it was interesting to see like it in another kind of tropical environment, just these kids exposed to all this violence. It's a great ghightly highly recommend it. Its director, I think his last name is Yang. He directed Yi Yi, another really famous movie. Highly recommend it. Brighter Summer Day. It's a big classic epic movie. Yeah. Nice. That was a excellent movie I caught last year. How about you guys?
Oh yeah.
Judgment at Nuremberg I finally watched.
Oh wow. Okay.
Shit.
Yeah.
How was that?
Fucking classic. 10 out of 10. Absolutely 10 out of 10. Basically, true story of them trying Nazis after World War II to see if they're complicit in war crimes, or if they were just following orders. It's a fucking masterpiece. Directed by Stanley Kramer. It's real good. Judy Garland is in there. I think she won like Best Supporting Actress. So,
is it mostly courtroom scenes?
A lot of courtroom, the vast majority for sure. Yeah, so good. It's like 3 hours too, Matthew. If you like long movies,
I do like it. If they're good, just let me sit with them.
It's really good. It's an all-star cast. It's got everybody. It's got frickin' Burt Lancaster, Spencer Tracy, Maximilian Schell, Judy Garland, Montgomery Clift, William Shatner in one of his earliest roles ever.
Wow, it does have everybody in there.
Yeah, it is a 10 out of 10.
I need to see this. It's hard when you have to you kind of psych yourself up to see a movie about that subject matter. It's kind of hard to be like, okay, I'm just going to sit down and watch a movie about one of the worst things that's happened in history.
Ever.
In
history, for sure.
But it sounds like a great movie.
Yeah.
Speaking of long movies again, I remember Matthew and I went, my first theater experience post-COVID, quote-unquote post-COVID, we went and saw Woodlands Dark and Days Bewitched, the history of folk horror. 3 hours and 14 minutes long. Loved every second of it.
Super cool.
That was so much fun.
It was amazing. Last year I finally watched The Blob, 1988, and The Fog, which I'd never seen either of those. The Blob had startlingly good kills, and The Fog had amazing atmosphere and basically no story. But I loved the idea of just the radio show host and like everyone in town listening to her, and like she can see the town, like it's so cool.
That's one of my favorite John Carpenter's. It's almost like tied for first with Escape from New York. It's just so good. It's so special. Yeah.
It's such
There's
a vibe.
Something so eerie about it. Yeah, exactly.
I really
it's
loved
all
it.
Vibes.
Mood.
Yeah, I really loved it. All right. Carl Williams' favorite movie of 2023, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Yeah. Not only the best movie I've seen this year, but easily top 5 MCU movies for me. Shame Gunn will no longer be involved with Marvel, but this movie does give me hope that he'll make DC movies worth watching. Favorite show of 2023, My Adventures with Superman. Speaking of DC, I never thought an animated show about the Man of Steel would be one of my top favorites, but here we are. The action does take a bit of a backseat to focus primarily on the chemistry between Clark, Lois, and Jimmy, but the chemistry is so good and wholesome. Can't wait for season 2. Nice. Hidden Gems, Monster. A lot of hidden gems mentioning that one. How to Blow Up a Pipeline, Anatomy of a Fall, and Fallen Leaves. You seen that?
Sick.
You want?
Fallen Leaves is so good. Fallen Leaves is great. I just watched that like 2 nights ago. It's that cute one. It's a Finnish movie about this couple.
Yeah.
They kind of
you were just sending me that today.
Meet each other and they go on this date. And like he loses her phone number and doesn't even know her name. He like blows away. And so he like spends forever looking for her in the city. And so it's like this romance in a harsh environment. They're both pretty poor. And so it's like, they're going to be able to, is their love going to survive all these obstacles? It's very cute. It's 82 minutes. It's a great movie. Highly recommend it. Yeah.
Brisk.
Nice.
Very funny. Very, very funny. Very kind of bleak sense of humor.
That sounds fun. They also have least favorites of the year. Allow me to be negative for a bit. Worst movies I've seen in 23.
Do it. Rip into them.
Yeah, Fast X. One of these is a hot take. Fast X. This franchise just continues to take an absolute nosedive with poor action sequences, terrible acting, boring story, etc. Didn't see that one. I gave up after 7. Although I did see Hobbs and Shaw.
After 7? You didn't watch 8?
I hated 7, dude. Really didn't.
Paul Walker. I had to see Paul Walker's journey through.
Yeah. The Paul Walker stuff was, like, how they sent him off was nice. I just thought the rest of the movie was...
Yeah.
And, obviously, like, losing an actor while you're producing, that fucking sucks, and it's going to impact your movie. Asteroid City, they didn't like. I was hoping this would bounce me back after being so disappointed with French Dispatch, but nope. This movie actually put me to sleep with how boring and uninteresting it was. I liked it.
I like it, but it's like,
not his best.
It just felt like style over substance. I don't know. I get that a lot with Wes Anderson personally. It's just like quirky. Here's your cool sets. Like,
this one I found interesting because a lot of people's critique of Asteroid City was that, like, oh, he's becoming a self-parody, you know? And it's like, I watched Asteroid City, and I was like, yeah, that's obviously the point. Like, to me, it seems like he is intentionally self-parodying in that. Like, it's a play within a movie. It's a play within a play within a movie, you know? It's like, he's obviously being a little tongue-in-cheek with himself, I thought, but maybe I'm reading into it.
I think I was okay with it, too, because it felt like everyone was just having a good time.
Right.
You know?
I think at a certain point, Wes Anderson, he started making movies about ideas more than his characters and people. He started to care about those more, and that's cool. There are movies about ideas, and there are movies about humans, and he started to lean more in that direction. And I liked his movies when he was more deeply invested in the people rather than the conceptual stuff, and that's cool. I think maybe he probably makes great conceptual movies. And I think the people who love him for that are enjoying the new stuff. And I wish him well. Like, thumbs up on that journey. I just kind of dig the older stuff more.
Yeah. I can appreciate both versions, you know? Like, I didn't hate French Dispatch. I mean, like, the middle segment I didn't really care for. But, I mean, the Leah Seydoux part, good heavens. And the end part I really liked. I think you've made a good point. Like, because my favorites of his are, Royal Tenenbaums and Life Aquatic and Grand Budapest Hotel, and those are like people with fun ideas around them, but like they're characters, they're people. They also really didn't like Aquaman 2 or Blue Beetle. The Snyderverse ends with a double dose of two incredibly dull superhero movies. Didn't expect much from Aquaman sequels since I thought the first one sucked, but Beetle was a complete waste of my time. James Gunn has his work cut out for him. I didn't see either of them.
Blue Beetle was so good. Blue Beetle is seriously like the best DC movie in like 10 years. I'm not even kidding.
I was talking with Omar De Armas about it. And he was saying that he really liked the representation seemed really authentic. I've heard a lot of people say that.
The family bond in that movie is so strong. Susan Sarandon and her henchmen are great, compelling villains. Like, that is a good movie. The action was creative and hard-hitting. Blue Beetle is sick. I will die on the Blue Beetle hill, straight up. I love that movie.
All right.
Yeah.
They also didn't like Dream Scenario. Yeah. You got to fight now. You and Carl.
Dream Scenario is hokey. It was a little fun, but it was corny.
I haven't seen it yet. Yeah, it looked cool, but I don't know. They also thought Last of Us was overrated. Doomed from the start. Never finished the first game, so I'm glad I sat through the TV version so I don't have to waste my time with the game again.
My God.
Wow, just busting through the saloon door.
Yeah.
Firing shots left and right.
Hurting my soul. I think Last of Us is the number one thing where if you don't like it, I get it, and that's fine.
Oh, for sure. Like, that's my thing with with all of these, like, the phrase, obviously, their phrasing is I think, kind of trying to ruffle our feathers on purpose, just a little for funsies. But, like, all of these, I'm like, yeah, I could definitely see not being into that. Like, except apparently Blue Beetle.
Yo, Blue Beetle's sick.
Would You Kindly says, favorite movie, Anatomy of a Fall, European auteur cinema that dares completely, sentences make more sense when I read the correct words, that dares complexity but keeps you engaged over its long running time. Yeah. Favorite show, Succession. My friend nagged for years to watch this as the topic and theme does not interest me at all. I gave in and binged the whole thing and loved the Shakespearean tragedy that made me also laugh out loud. Great tropes as well. That was kind of my thing with Succession is like, I was kind of hate watching it. Like, I hated all of them. I know you're kind of supposed to, but like the first season and a half, I was like, I only kept watching it because Sophia loved it so much, and I was just like, I don't enjoy this. But obviously it's super well made and like a really well done show, and I'm happy I watched all of it. I was also, like I said, just happy it was done. Great show.
I knew people like them, and I can't say how, but I knew people like them, and it's like
I've also known people like them.
That's how the rich are, a lot of them, you know, and it's sad that the world is like that, the way it is because of that. It is a tragedy.
Right,
yeah.
Yeah. Fuck the CEOs.
Fuck the CEOs. Yeah.
Fuck the board. Fuck them all.
Yeah. Fuck the board is more appropriate, I think. Hidden Gem, 99 francs. Older but absolutely mind-blowing. Amazing take on consumerism in Chuck P / Fight Club style that goes really wild. Whoa. Or 99 francs. I don't know. FRANC.
Francs.
Francs. France.
Francs.
Anything else? I have a feeling that all award shows and awards are getting more streamlined. Hype for the same shite, which leaves a lot of pearls in the dark. I mean, as we all were talking about with our own goatees over at Easy Allies, like, awards are always flawed because you can't get a subjective or equal panel because not everyone will have the same tastes or the same exposure and experience with all the media of the year. Like a fair awards show, like every single voter would have seen every single thing, which is like not possible.
Yeah, it's just not possible. Yeah.
But
so you just have to accept that it's gonna be those things that rise above the clouds in the zeitgeist. You know, you just kind of got to accept that. And there's always going to be things off the beaten path. And that you can take that even a step further with like those things that are off the beaten path maybe maybe like the best thing ever made, but only to like 10% of people. So it's like, is that then the best thing? Like award shows are traditionally like really good things that can like be digested by the masses, you know,
populist
so
trash.
Something like Oppenheimer, where it's dealing with some like intense ass shit, but like every single person can like sit down and watch Oppenheimer. You know, it's like it's tricky.
Yeah, for sure. Alex says, my favorite movies of the year would be Across the Spider-Verse and Nimona. Couldn't decide between these two, and Mutant Mayhem is a close second. Personally, I think animated movies were top films this year. If Pluto hadn't come out, Last of Us would have been my number one, with The Bear being a close third, since it had my favorite episode of any show this year, Forks. And shout out to the amazing debut of My Adventures with Superman. Can't wait for season 2. Don't know if any of these are actual hidden gems or not, but I haven't seen much buzz around them. Self-Reliance, Wrath of Becky, It's a Wonderful Knife, Totally Killer, Dream Scenario. Really looking forward to the following: Love Lies Bleeding, Kung Fu Panda 4, Godzilla x Kong, Spaceman, Civil War, The Fall Guy, If, Furiosa, Inside Out 2, and Dune Part 2. I am also very stoked for Love Lies Bleeding and Dune Part 2. Out of my mind for those. Love Lies Bleeding? Lesbians. Self-Reliance, I wonder if that's good. Yeah, I was looking at that the other day. It's on Hulu or whatever.
Nice.
Self-Reliance, is that the Jake Johnson one?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched that. It's funny.
Is it good?
He's funny. Yeah. If you like him,
I like him a lot.
You'll enjoy it. He's funny in it. It's funny. It's a funny, good time. It's like a romantic comedy. Yeah.
Is it funny, Matthew?
Yeah. It's a funny, good time.
It's a funny, good time.
I don't like funny things.
Yeah. Like if
he's dead inside.
Well, then you'll hate it.
He comfort plays Last of Us 2.
It's like it's a like a hits it to second base. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those movies.
Yeah, it's a double. It's a double down the line.
Yeah.
And then gets tapped out or what?
then the other people like strike out.
Walk it home.
You're left stranded there. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. I think it's worth
Does
it.
he get home? Is my point. Does it get home ever?
I don't know, but I liked watching it.
It's funny, good time. I heard.
Yeah.
6 to go. Raymond Wheeler III, my favorite movie was Guardians of the Galaxy 3 for its happiest sad ending of departures. I thoroughly enjoyed The Last of Us as my favorite show. Not only is it a superbly crafted series based on one of my favorite video games, but it also holds a special connection as it was filmed in parts of my hometown. Recognizing familiar locations firsthand was pretty cool to see. That is cool. Most anticipated are Dune Part 2, Deadpool 3, and Furiosa. Hell yeah. Willie Diaz, my favorite movie of last year was probably Godzilla -1. I was expecting to be parasited, but by the end of it... Hell yeah, thanks for using that. I was expected to be parasited, but by the end of the movie, I was at the edge of my seat and fully engaged with the story and waiting to see what would happen next. Yeah, it's really good. We hopefully are not parasiting people. Also, hopefully parasited is not a weird term. I saw it in a different context, and I was like, what the hell does that mean?
Context is key. We're talking about
did not look into it, but yeah.
We're talking about the movie.
Yeah. Paul Rogers.
The old Parasite.
Yeah.
The greatest film ever made
the greatest
in the history
film
of
you'll
film.
ever see in 2019 or whatever the hell year that came out, 2017. Paul Rogers, I just wrote up my top 10 last week, and though I didn't know everything that would make the list, my number one film was never in doubt. Godzilla -1 was definitely my best experience in the cinema this year. The human story was so fantastic, I genuinely wouldn't have cared if Godzilla never showed up. Thankfully he did. Who knew Godzilla could make me cry? My favorite thing in that is that Godzilla's fucking scary in it. Like, real scary. Yeah. I'm excited to hear what you think of it. Top 10 movies: Godzilla -1, Past Lives, Oppenheimer, Barbie, Wonka, Across the Spider-Verse, Guardians 3, Saltburn, John Wick 4, and Eileen. I liked Eileen. I wanted Eileen to be gayer. Surprising no one. But
I get it. I get it. Like, I had to think about it for a little while because, it went in a strange direction.
Yeah.
But I thought about it. And I was cool with it. It took me some couple days, yeah.
It definitely, like, there are in your gay cinema, there are movies of fulfillment and movies of yearning, and character studies are very similar to that, where it's like, do we actualize or do we drill down and get worse, like, and Eileen kind of dances with all of that. Mm-hmm. It was an interesting movie. I really liked it. Saltburn, we haven't talked about it all yet. This is, I think, the first time it's come up. Saltburn.
Looks so pretentious for me.
It's a lot.
I don't think
it's
you
so
would like
pretentious.
It's a lot. It's a lot to take on. I liked how weird it was, but I also didn't like how weird it was.
I thought I saw someone else say this too. I don't recall who, but like I kind of agreed. Is that I wanted it to go harder in one direction or the other. Like I didn't know if it was supposed to be like, let me feel things about these people, or this is a campy hate everyone fest where it's just fun and crazy, and it kind of skirts the line in ways that sometimes work and in ways that sometimes don't. Like it's such a strange movie because I really loved parts of it. But there was like a good hour in the middle where I was pretty checked out. And
scathing. That's a scathing indictment.
Yeah. At the end, my main takeaway at the end is talented Mr. Ripley got there first. And there's a Ripley show with Andrew Scott or whatever coming, and the trailer looked great. So, yeah. But it wasn't bad. I don't know.
There's a cemetery scene that is very special.
Yeah, that was good. I was watching a thing about with Barry Keoghan talking about his roles, and he said for that scene he was just like, he kind of asked for a close set so he could just see where he went, and apparently that was just like on the day.
Oh, he improvised that. Okay, yeah. Cool.
Which like, sure,
nice.
We've all been there.
He was
man,
feeling it. He was just feeling it. Okay,
we've all been there. I haven't rated TV this year, but some of the most amazing shows deserving of praise was Reacher.
Hell yeah, dude. Show is seriously a 10.
Sometimes you just want a big man punching bad guys who deserve pain.
Yep.
Dude, fuck yeah. For my final recommendation / last thought, I want to talk about one of the best things I've watched this year, and it's Billiam's Lost retrospective videos on YouTube. Dude, shit yes. Sophia and I have been watching these, and they're so good. We're on video 4, which is 6 hours and 38 minutes long.
Jeez.
It's really good. Paul continues, I was a Lost obsessive when it first aired and have owned the whole series in multiple formats. Billiam's analysis and recaps have allowed me to re-experience the love and passion I had for the series in a whole new way. For anyone who's ever a Lostie, I highly recommend. I second this, dude. It sounds really long to have like 2 3-hour videos and 2 6-hour videos, and I think there's another one coming. Like, that sounds insane, but then think about the hours of rewatching Lost in its entirety, and it's like, less than 1 season's worth of that time. So like, or whatever, so it's like what he's doing is you get the joy of rewatching Lost, but he's also contextualizing it and putting your head back in the space of where you were when you watched it the first time. It's great. He also said he's going to talk about the ARGs and stuff in this latest video. We're only like an hour into this latest one. And I played those ARGs, nice. Yeah, I'm really into it. I loved Lost. I don't know, Lost is stupid.
I worked on Lost. Yeah.
Oh, what? I forgot. About that.
Do we not talk about that? Yeah. I forget about it sometimes.
I mean, I knew that, but I forgot about that. Do you want to talk about that?
I mean, it was fun. I loved it. I was excited about it. I worked at a library, and then I got the opportunity to work on Lost in this like second season. After the second season, I was like, yes, of course, I will work on Lost. It was amazing. So I did it.
Rips
for 2 years. Yeah,
that is bananas.
That happened. Yeah, it happened. If you have the Blu-ray box sets, you can see some of my incredible bonus features. Where's the gun? Where did the gun go? Yeah. Trace the path of the gun. Who has the gun now? I did stuff like that. But it's great. I got all the scripts early. I got to know what happened. Had to keep secrets. It was so cool. It was very fun.
You're very good at keeping secrets.
Yes.
I didn't say anything. Hey man, nice shots. It's so fun to see these names that like continued over. Thank you for being here on our new Patreon, patreon.com/reaction shots.
Is that a reference to that one song, Hey Man?
That's what I've always assumed. Hey man, yeah.
Filter, yeah.
Filter, yeah, that's who it is.
Robert Patrick's brother.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
The T-1000?
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. Who knew? Probably a lot of people. Hey man, nice shots. Favorite movie? Looking back, I wasn't blown away by movies that often last year. However, speaking from the heart, one that stood out for me, John Wick 4, was one incredible spectacle of a movie. The vibes in there being the pinnacle of the series, as were the action scenes. Donnie Yen was coolness personified. Bill Skarsgård was a delight. That guy could sell me anything. And yes, it was almost 3 hours long, and usually I'm totally against this trend of every movie apparently needing to be a plus 2.5 hours running time, but rarely has time flown by so quickly as it did when I was in the theater watching this. Dude, I drive around listening to that Bloodvania song from that club, like Heaven and Hell or Himmel and whatever, all the time. Favorite show? Fall of the House of Usher. Flanagan delivers maybe his best work yet. Again, absolutely loved the vibes. Interesting take on Poe's work. Something sometimes scary, but also transcending the horror genre. I'll only be able to pick between this and Midnight Mass after I've given this a second viewing. Of course, I don't have to tell you about Silo. I got hyped from reaction shots, but I wasn't even parasited. This show was bonkers. So curious about what the future will bring for the story. God, I love fucking Silo, dude. It's so good. I also have to bring up The Bear Season 2, kicking things up a notch from Season 1. This one had even more mouth-watering food porn, as well as more stress-inducing. I honestly don't think I can ever endure the Christmas episode again. But
Dude,
also
that
the
one
emotional
family dinner?
payoff-
Yeah.
The emotional
was
payoff and
crazy.
character development. No spoilers, but just thinking back to Richie and Taylor Swift makes me well up all over again. Well, I don't know what that means, but I've never watched The Bear because every time someone talks about it, they're like, it's incredible, most stressful show I've ever seen. And I'm like, I don't want to watch that.
He's not wrong. That one family dinner scene that he's talking about, yeah. Shoosh. That was a lot. It was intense.
It was.
Lastly, also discovered Slow Horses on Apple TV, a hugely entertaining performance from Gary Oldman, a super engaging storyline that makes for a show that elegantly combines humor with tension, intrigue, and excitement. Season 3 just came out. Nice.
My dad loves it.
Yeah, I've seen it on there. I've got Apple TV, but I haven't given it. My hair is being so weird today. Hidden Gem, Mutant Mayhem, baby. Hear me out. I know this is not exactly a quaint niche little movie I picked up from the bottom shelf of an old-timey video store, but this movie didn't deserve to fly under the radar as much as it did. This was an honest, fresh take on a classic franchise that respected the original material. It had a fun story, a great cast, and oh my god, it was incredibly gorgeous and stylish. Yes, we agree. We love Mutant Mayhem here on Reaction Shots. We support it. And we encourage you to watch it. We're excited to hear what you think of it.
Yep.
Most anticipated Dune 2 without a doubt. Last year we watched a big part of Villeneuve's filmography and more. He's becoming one of my favorite directors out there. Me too, dude. He is so good.
100%.
I can't think of a
100%.
Denis Villeneuve miss
No.
off the top of my head.
Every single one of his movies.
Yeah. Anything else? Didn't have to think for more than 2 seconds to join this Patreon. Best of luck to you all. Looking forward to listening to this passionate trio gushing about movies for the next few years. Hell yeah. Thank you so much.
That's so nice.
Last two here, they're shorties. See You When I Get There, Return to Saul, Killers of the Flower Moon, and Theater Camp were my films of the year. Love you too, lots of love, X. I haven't seen Theater Camp, man. It seems right up my alley.
It's fun. Yeah, I like Theater Camp. Yeah.
I love mockumentaries, and I'm a theater kid, so like I need.
You'll enjoy
to see
it.
this movie.
Yeah.
The reason I haven't seen it is because Elise and I said we would see it together, and we just haven't had a chance to sync up and watch it yet. Unless she betrayed me, and then in which case, bad friend.
True.
How dare she? It builds to something fun. Yeah.
I'm gonna text her right now and be like, "Did you watch Theater Camp? We're not friends anymore." If she did, not true. Friends to the end. Mark Hallinan, an unexpected gem from last year was Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. Hell yeah! This film was delightful, and I hope they carry on with the cast into further adventures. Looking forward to this year. I am excited to see John Watts' next film, Wolves, which has George Clooney and Brad Pitt as two lone wolves forced to work on a job together. Nice. That sounds fun.
Very cool.
Yeah, I loved Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Among Thieves as well. It's very, very good. All right. Them's the breaks for our patron comments. Now, we're going to do our own tops of the year. I just did movies, but my favorite shows were definitely Silo and Fargo Season 5. I'm already talking, so I'll go first. Sound good? I didn't put these in an order. I could do so pretty quickly. Let's see. My favorites of the year were probably Godzilla -1, Bottoms, Poor Things, Sisu. If that was last year, I saw it last year.
I haven't seen that one. I hear that's super violent,
Sisu,
right?
Oh, it's fucking nuts. It's absurd. It just keeps ramping it up to like more and more extremely absurd levels. It's great. D&D, Oppenheimer and Barbie, and I enjoyed Asteroid City. Like, I don't know, it's not maybe one of my favorites, but I thought it was cute. Those are mine. Like, D&D and Asteroid City were just kind of like fun for me.
Nice.
Yeah. Hubie, what you got?
I did 5 movies, 5 shows.
Nice.
For the movies, in ascending order, it was No One Will Save You, the Caitlin Dever
Oh,
alien
I need
movie.
to see that.
I love her so much. One of my favorite actors. Next was The Killer. I love me some Fincher.
Oh, right. I love
Fassbender. I love that movie so much. That is just like right in my wheelhouse. Some assassin hitman shit, like David Fincher, so good.
Yeah.
Next would be Oppenheimer. Probably Christopher Nolan's masterpiece. I mean, he's got a few of them, but I think Oppenheimer is like definitively his best.
I would
Batman's
probably
obviously
agree.
my favorite because it's Batman, but yeah. Next would be Turtles: Mutant Mayhem #2.
Hell yeah! I should have put that on mine too. I should have put that on mine. I love that.
Yeah, I love it so much. It is like chicken soup for the soul. That movie just makes me feel things. Like, I love it so much. I can't wait for more of those. Like, I want more. I think there's going to be a show or something too.
Oh, cool.
They were talking about. I don't know. I was like a little skeptical about it because Turtles can be really hit or miss. Just the comics, the games, the movies, everything about it. It is so up and down. And like we meme about Seth Rogen being like overexposed and just like has his hands and everything. It's like, Seth Rogen's doing this? Like, what? But
that's my favorite kind of celebrity, where it's like, hell yeah. Like if you've got the position and the money and the voice, like do shit like this.
Do it.
Like put a creative vision out there, like give shots to other people. Like that's what you're there to do.
And then number one by a very, very long mile, John Wick, Chapter 4. I saw it 3 times in the theater, saw it with my dad, saw it with my buddy, and then I saw it solo. I am going to die on the hill that this is one of the greatest action movies ever made. Hands down.
Good.
No question. Like,
hell yeah.
I know a lot of people will start throwing out some like the Hong Kong action movies, of course, and Die Hard and Terminator and everything, but I think as time goes on, as time goes by, John Wick Chapter 4 will be standing in the top echelon with those other like best action movies ever made. But for so many reasons. I mean, the story was the best. Bill Skarsgård was absolutely the best villain that franchise has ever seen by far. Donnie Yen in a series with excellent supporting characters, Donnie Yen is by far the best supporting character. Lance Reddick in there was bittersweet.
Kind of arc. Without saying what Donnie Yen's arc is, like that kind of arc, always good in movies like this.
Yep, and then most importantly, the action scenes were the best the franchise has ever seen, in my opinion, which is really saying a lot. They felt the most real. Yeah. You go back, you watch some of the other John Wicks, and some of them are like, even when you rewatch The Raid 1, some of that stuff is so choreographed. It is so insanely choreographed, where like people are walking up to John Wick to just get thrown down melee style and then shot in the head. They're just like, why didn't you shoot John from a mile away? Why are you walking up to him like with a gun? John Wick Chapter 4 still obviously has a little bit of that, but way tighter, way more realistic action. Like the best. And then shows. Justified, City Primeval.
Oh yeah.
This is a sequel follow-up to Justified. Justified's one of the goats. It was just so nice to see Raylan Givens back in action. One of the greatest TV characters. Next would be Gen V. Really liked Gen V a lot. I love The Boys, and I love high school drama and college drama, and Gen V was a mix of both. And I just got really invested into these characters. Like, now I'm super hyped for how this stuff is going to impact the boys going forward, because these characters are important and awesome, and I'm invested in their fates.
Did we talk about? I realized because I watched Gen V as well, because everyone was like, you gotta watch it even if you don't like the boys, it's great, and I watched it and I enjoyed it mostly up to a point. I realized that I can put into words why I don't like the boys or Gen V really, is that I have a real sensitivity to injustice, and like those shows like to use unjust or unjust things happening as like a shock. Like,
the justice will be served by the end.
Yeah.
Is my theory.
That's
though.
the hope.
It'll make it sweeter.
Yeah. I mean, my thing is, it's the same as why I don't always like period dramas or things about, like, you know, like women's struggles and stuff like that, where it's like, well, that happened to me 2 days ago. Like, that's not some fun thing from the past. That's still happening. You know, like, that kind of stuff bugs me. Not what I'm looking for in a TV show, but, like, Gen V was cool.
Nice.
Anyway, sorry, not to yuck your yum.
No, you're good. And then Bosch Legacy, Season 2. Bosch, one of the best crime dramas ever made. I mean, Titus Welliver as Harry Bosch is just a straight-up legend. I love this show. Real good season. Real good follow-up, like, sequel series. Same with Justified. Just, like, sequel shows to legendary shows. Like, every season of Bosch, there's like 7 seasons. Every season is different and amazing. Not one dull season. It's so good. Highly recommend. Then it would be number 2 is The Last of Us.
Hell yeah.
Because it's The Last of Us. I love it so much. I like how different it was too. I like that we got to see some different sides of that universe. And number 1, obviously, is The Bear. The Bear is the best. The Bear is my Breaking Bad right now.
Yeah, it's so good.
It is on another level of TV shows by far.
Damn it, I might have to watch The Bear.
It's got so much heart. It's got so much heart. Yeah, it really does.
Best characters. It's got just every episode too feels so meaningful, and these are 30-minute episodes, so it goes down quick, goes down easy. Like, it's stressful, sure, sometimes, but, like, there's so much comedy. Like, I'm laughing a lot during the show, and it's a dramedy, I would say.
Yeah.
It's not always stressful either.
It's not.
I stayed away from it for a long time because I was like, I don't want to be stressed out. What is it? They're like cooking and always yelling.
Right.
I don't need to watch that. But like the first episode, like front loads a lot of the yelling and swearing, and then it chills out a little bit, and then you just get to know the characters and their backstories, and they help each other out and are nice to each other, and like it settles down a little bit, and then I was like very invested, and it's sweet, and like you look at these people and like what they're going through and what made them so stressed out, and you're like, oh, I want you to be okay, I want your life to do well, and sometimes they do okay, and sometimes they make mistakes, and you're like, oh, I'm rooting for you. It's like a cute, good show. So
it's like the main show where I just think about the power of like human connection and bonds, and all we all need is someone rooting for us. We need somebody in our corner to support us, to encourage us. Like, that is the vibes I get from there.
Yep.
And I love a show with really defined episodes. Like, some of these episodes, I'm not going to say which ones. Some of them are fucking legendary and like going down in the books forever. They're freaking masterpiece. There's some masterpiece episodes. Yeah.
Plus Io Debris from Bottoms, she's amazing. Yeah. She's all over the place now. It feels like she's showing up everywhere, and she deserves to. Yeah. She's great. Yeah.
The underrated gem. Underrated gem was Warrior Season 3. The show got canceled and picked back up. And it's from Shannon Lee, Bruce Lee's daughter. It's about the early 1900s Tong gangs in San Francisco. It's a period action martial arts drama. The fucking best. If you watch the show, you will love it. Straight up. I wish more people watch Warrior. It is so good. It feels like it should be way more popular because it taps into like what pop culture likes. There's just like really awesome fight scenes, really good characters. It's a really good show.
Cool.
Most anticipated for 2024 is obviously Dune Part 2. Villeneuve is the best living director right now, in my mind. He's in his prime. Also, though, A very, very close second, maybe even first, is Nosferatu from Eggers.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I think I'm so hyped for that because I love Eggers movies, but also this is his passion project.
Yeah.
This is the movie that he like has been wanting to make, and when you get a talented auteur filmmaker to like make their passion project, like that has special written all over it. So excited for that.
Yeah, really looking forward to that. Also, looking forward to Love Lies Bleeding and Driveway Dolls.
Hell yeah. Love Lies Bleeding hype. The not Kristen Stewart lady is in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so I'm invested. Yes.
Got your attention.
Yeah.
What's yours, Matthew?
All right. So I'm gonna go up. Number 10 for me was When Evil Lurks. I agree with Tokyo
Sick.
Slim. I saw that late at night by myself. It was really
Ooh.
dark. Really scared me. Just like knowing, so intense. It doesn't hold back anything. You're like, oh, they're just gonna kill that person, or oh my god, they're gonna hurt that kid. Oh, holy shit. Like it's just so, and it makes up its own mythology and rules and sticks to them. I haven't seen a movie since Gremlins that invents rules that you've never heard of and you just believe in them. You're like, okay, that's the rule. Okay, you gotta like walk slowly. Okay, and you gotta use this special compass and like don't say anything mean to the evil spirit, and you're just like buying into this world. And it just feels like so many iconic images from it just seared itself into me that I'm gonna think about and be scared of forever. So When Evil Lurks.
What's it called again?
When Evil Lurks.
Okay.
From Argentina.
Sometimes I won't watch horror movies until October for maximum vibes, and this was the one, Matthew, where I was like, I'm waiting until next Halloween season.
Save it, yeah, and if you do the thing where you start,
put it in a little bottle.
Yeah, if you start mild and you build up to Halloween and you save the more hardcore ones towards Halloween, you can save this closer to Halloween because it's intense. Yeah,
it just hits.
It's a classic font on the poster. Love it.
Yeah. Next one for me is May December. I didn't think I was gonna like this one, but I was just checking it off the list because I kind of wanted to see everything. And I'm not a huge Todd Haynes fan, but I was like, okay, I'll just watch this one. I really, really liked it. It was a very intense moral investigation of our culture, not just this incident. You know, it's kind of like inspired by a real thing that happened.
Yeah.
Where,
did you ever see the show A Teacher?
No, I didn't.
With Kate Mara?
No, I haven't.
Same shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, like, inspired by 36-year-old woman who, like, hooked up with a really young teenage boy, and then she got pregnant and went to jail. So this is basically, like, visiting the adult life of these people who, like, got married and stuck together, and now the, like, teenage kid is an adult man, and they just like lived their lives and, you know, became an adult couple. And it's kind of just like really, really intense about the emotional fallout of what happens. And Natalie Portman is an actress who's going to portray Julianne Moore as in a movie, and so she studies them and wants to like really, really get in their life and like portray it accurately. But it was a smart script. It was darkly funny, really, really weird movie, but really has a lot to say that I wasn't expecting. Not an easy movie to watch, but a good movie and an important movie. I say check it out. Number 8, Blue Jean. Isla,
Blue Jean Lady.
Exactly. Isla, I understood the assignment. This is for your lesbians. Blue Jean.
What?
Yeah. Blue Jean is a great kind of like indie movie from the UK. It is set in the late 80s from Margaret Thatcher is kind of being awful, trying to do laws that are cracking down on LGBTQ people. And there's a PE teacher, and she's really, really cool
this
lesbian
one, yeah.
woman. Do you know about this?
I remember seeing the trailer.
it's such a well shot movie, such a well acted movie. And she has like students who she's trying to like, coach on a team. And she's got like a student who's like also a lesbian trying to like find her way in the world, and like hanging out with like adults who are lesbian at a bar, and like just trying to like understand what it means to like come out and get like inspired by these older adults who have already kind of figured out their identity. Really, really cool, smart movie. Really well done. Just people trying to navigate through like an oppressive conservative government, and live their lives. I liked it.
What's that like?
Yeah, exactly. What is it like? Echoes of a time we might be familiar with, but it ends up in a place that I didn't expect, and a place that didn't totally bum me out. So I
didn't or did?
Did not totally bum me out.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought
I
it was
need to
gonna
watch
be.
this one.
I thought it was gonna be a bummer, and it was not. I was like, oh, cool. Left me a little happy. So. Recommend it. Next one is Suzume, the anime. This is from the person who did animes you've probably seen, like Your Name or Voices of a Distant Star.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this high school girl has to seal supernatural doors that makes earthquakes happen. She has to run around and find them. It's like her job. It's a really great metaphor for like natural disasters and like COVID and like
intense.
She has to deal, kind of like wrestle with like self-harm. She doesn't even realize she's doing things like it's cool. It's a good deep movie. It's got like Ghibli feelings, kind of feels a little like Spirited Away. Really recommend it. It was just fun to put an anime on a top 10 list.
Yeah,
I loved it. Eileen is next. Eileen, we talked a little bit about. We hit on it.
Oh yeah, high up.
There's this kind of like Buddhist like saying where it says if you come across the Buddha on your path to enlightenment, you have to slay the Buddha. I don't know if you've ever heard that saying.
Oh yeah.
Eileen is kind of that movie for me. Like,
whoa.
Yeah.
What an amazing read. You're so right though. Yeah. The movie felt a little unfulfilling at first, but then I sat on it for a couple of days. I was like, nah, this is cool. This is right brilliant.
For her.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. Don't worry. I'm not really giving anything away. It's just like the movie. You're like, feels like fireworks didn't go off, but then you're like, it's good. Yeah. It's a good movie.
Or the fireworks went off, but they were a completely different kind of firework than you were expecting.
Yeah. It's a good movie. It's funny. Also darkly funny.
Very funny.
The holdovers,
and like curvy.
Oh yeah, very pervy. The holdovers is next. We've talked about the holdovers a little bit. The Paul Giamatti one. So good. Just these people. A lot of them, or a couple of them, are in rough places in their life, and they just are going through it, and they're honest about going through it. And the movie does not really lie to you about where they are. And I don't think it tries to tell you, sell you some line about like, don't worry, they're gonna, like, I'll be amazing next. Like some movies try to force like some super happy turn of events, and I think Holdovers is just like, here are these people. Do you want to get to know them? I love that. Love it when a movie does that. Great movie. Next is Poor Things. We all talked about that. Great acting. Cool world, quirky world, hilarious. Many laughs in that movie. Just
great use of lenses.
Laughing. Yeah. He likes a fisheye lens every once in a while. This director.
He loves a fisheye. More fisheye than ever. This damn movie.
Yeah.
Using 4mm lenses on 35mm like camera. 4mm 16 lenses on 35mm cameras. It's insanity. Just like a pinhole in the middle of the damn screen. It's just like, okay, all right.
The Favorite had a lot of them too. Oh, and then we didn't even talk. Did we talk about Willem Dafoe and how hilarious and touching and weird he is? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see Willem Dafoe's Criterion Closet? He's
Yes.
got like a 4-minute Criterion closet.
Sick.
So good.
Cute. Yeah.
He's got such Dawn energy from over at Easy 8, but like I
Yeah.
love Willem Dafoe. Like there's a clip that Sophia keeps watching. I'm not even sure what movie he's referring to. Maybe Florida Project. I don't know, but like he's like the character. Well, he's gay. He loves classical music. There's just a lot going on. He's wonderful. I love him, and that's the whole clip. It's Willem Dafoe saying that.
Yeah. Yeah, Poor Things is good. It's really good. It's getting a lot of attention, but it deserves the attention. It's a good, interesting movie.
I feel like Emma Stone has the most consistent filmography like ever.
Yeah.
I might.
Emma Stone is like good in everything.
I mean, she's always good. The movies aren't always good. Like
I feel like she's in a lot of good movies.
Amazing Spider-Man. I don't know.
Everyone gets their paycheck movie. You get one free one.
La La Land wasn't my cup of tea, but
Wasn't my cup of tea, but it's still nominated for shit
yeah.
and won shit.
She shows up. Yeah,
She shows up.
Yeah,
She gets the work done for sure.
She makes me want to see that, even though it looks like not my kind of movie.
yeah.
Poor Things.
Yeah.
I think you might actually enjoy it. It's deeply weird.
Yeah.
And it is like kind of a comedy, but like not really. It's more like if you just love you love filmmaking and like it's like Cabinet of Caligari. It's like German expressionist. It like harkens back to like so much. It's just like if you just watched it for the filmmaking and the set design and the fact that these are all sets mostly.
Chill, I'll do that then. I'll go in with that mindset. Perfect.
You'll love it just for that, and I think you might actually like the story and the journey of it too. Also, the music is like fucking crazy. It's so weird and wild, and I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's good. It's just funny. If you want, it's a great comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I'm excited to hear what you think of it.
Yeah. I would love to get you a read.
I would too.
Sick.
And the next up is another comedy is Bottoms. Like Bottoms was just
Hell yeah, dude.
so much fun. So much fun.
Fucking great movie.
Great energy.
Yeah.
I can't wait to rewatch it again multiple times. Probably like once every year or so. Like it just feels like an instant high school classic. And then Rachel Sennett co-wrote it. She's hilarious. And the director, she's 28. This is her second movie.
Bitch.
No, congratulations to her. It's what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to say that how inspiring,
Yeah.
how inspiring. I'm inspired by her talent.
I'll say she's a rancorous bitch. That's what I'll say.
I'll let you have your jealousy, but it is so impressive to like do something like that so quickly. Yeah. But and then of course Io is in it now, and like she's doing so much and
Firing
so
on all cylinders.
Yeah, and that like climactic thing that's hilarious at the end. That there's some surprising violence in this movie. Kind of reminded me of Heathers, actually.
Oh, for sure. It very Heathers,
Yeah. Just great.
I liked it more than
hilarious.
Heathers, though.
Yeah, I think so. It's not as dark as Heathers.
Heathers is dark. I saw Heathers like a few years ago for the first time. Jesus, that movie is dark.
Yeah.
Like I was like, wow, we're going here. Okay. Like
Heathers is heavy, but yeah.
Yeah.
And then my top two, I still can't decide what I like best, but for kind of politically motivated, but they're also great movies, is Barbie and How to Blow Up a Pipeline. I think they're good for our culture. They're important. Nice. I mean, I really enjoyed them, but they have a good place for us to be watching these movies. How to Blow Up a Pipeline, just watch it, and like I said, don't do what they do in the movie. But just contemplate that movie. contemplate what it's positing. And
How
then
to Blow Up a Barbie is your first. You're number one.
Exactly. And then Barbie, I think, is amazing. I do think Greta Gerwig deserves a director nomination. Awards all over the place. I don't know if the DGA stuff happened, those awards, but maybe she should just get every other award at other locations.
Who would you knock off in her place?
Who would I knock off? Scorsese. Get rid of Scorsese. Yeah. But
he had his chance.
Put Greta Gerwig up there. He's gotten an Oscar before. I watched Killers of the Flower Moon. It's a good movie, but give Greta Gerwig one instead. As a fun exercise, I would recommend watching Greta Gerwig's Letterboxd interview about the movies she researched to create Barbie. She mentions 36 classical movies that she watched, from musicals to, classic Hollywood love stories and all the things that went into the set designs of Barbie. And you will see how intricately involved she was in every step of the process of this movie's creation. Like, it wasn't she was just like hands off and just like, okay, you guys like run around and do this. Like, she was the creation of Barbie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
seeing the music video for I'm Just Ken, like, because it shows the behind the scenes footage. It looks like they were having a blast, but like, it just looks like such a cool set and such a good vibe. And I aspire to that.
And I just love having a movie that was like made the most money, cost $140 million to make, and then just had such a big impact on the culture. Have feminist ideals in it. And even if, I've heard people say that, it's feminism 101 or it's just very basic ideas, but that's great. That's fine. Let it be like a cool entry point for people to like contemplate things.
That's why it made $1.5 billion. It's easy to digest that movie.
And I will
you're not gonna hit a bill with a dissertation.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
I will say, as a dude, like, sometimes I think about my privilege and I'm embarrassed by it, and I like try and vote the right way or donate to causes, but that's the extent sometimes of it, and then like I see something like Ken come out into the world of like men ruling everything, and he gets so excited, like, here's a world made for me, and it feels like a bit of a gut punch. I'm like, shit, it really fucking is made for me. You know what I mean? Like, it makes
I know exactly what you mean.
It makes me contemplate things. And I'm sure women, of course, Isla, you, and everyone else who's a woman has to feel that way every day, that the world isn't necessarily made for all of you. It's society creates it for us to benefit as men. But, it's just fucking...
It's definitely an interesting exercise when you had it and gave it up, too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
In my case,
just being presented to you in a new way that this movie did, it made me feel things, and I think that's a good thing to go through as a culture for everyone to sit there and watch it. Yeah. So that concludes my
speech about it.
Yeah.
Great take on Barbie.
Loved it. I loved
Great
it.
take. Yeah.
All right, that's gonna do it. I did want to shout out to the Easy Allies shoutouts tier, because the way that we announced this in the middle of the month, so it's sort of like still in the cycle for that. So fair is fair, and that is the top tier over at Easy Allies, patreon.com/Easy Allies. Jabawabs, El Thanis, Greg the Dark Knight Kettering, Jesse Blue, and Raymond Wheeler III. Shout out. Hell yeah. We here on the new Patreon just have one tier, baby. $3.
Yep.
There's three of us. Chuck us a buck, We're so thrilled to see people jump on. I'm really pleased with the number of people that jumped on already. It really means a lot to me. That kind of show of faith in our, little podcast, We've always really enjoyed doing it. Obviously, Matthew's not local to LA, so we're doing it remotely now. Hopefully that's, okay by everybody. We're trying on this new platform that I hope will work, because if it works, it's going to be really, really slick, and it's going to streamline everything for me, the editor. But right now my internet sucks or something, so the sync's a little tricky. But all in all, I think it will be really good, hopefully. And next month we will find out. But thank you, everybody. And also, I probably should have said this up top, but if you are on YouTube watching this, please like the video and subscribe and all that. It helps the video. I have YouTube comments turned off by default. I might change my mind on that because it helps with engagement. But at the other hand, I'm not going to read them. So I don't want to police them. So, whatever. Patreon.com/reactionshots. Join for $3 and you are in the film club. You can have your comments in the show, like the ones we had here today. I try to get to all of them. We don't always. This is a longer episode than we usually do, but it's a year in review episode, and those usually tend to be longer. And you also get in on the Discord, and it's been really fun and jolly in there. And the three of us have been popping through and saying stuff too. It's been really fun. So yeah, thanks for your support, and tell your friends, and rate us on your podcast platform of choice if you're listening to the audio version. Anything else, boys?
Excited to talk movies with you fine folk every month.
Yeah, thank you for all the recommendations. I've got some good homework. Yeah.
Got great homework this month.
I always catch up for the Oscars, so I'll probably just be banging out all those in the coming months.
Yeah, and we'll definitely talk about the Oscars next month, as well as probably a different theme too. The Oscars will sort of be the news segment, because we come out the last Friday of every month now instead of the second Friday of every month now. So we'll cover the news of the month. And unless the Oscars moved out of February, they should be next month. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. We'll see you next month on Reaction Shots.